There's a birth in the Bible so strange, so dramatic, that it almost feels like a legend, one involving a scarlet thread, an interrupted bloodline, and two unborn twins fighting for legacy. But this is no myth. It's a real story tucked away in Genesis, the story of Perez and Zerah, the children of a woman who was never meant to be a mother to kings, yet somehow gave rise to one of the most powerful bloodlines in all of history. This is the strange birth of Perez and Zerah. In ancient Israel, family was everything, and Judah, the fourth son of Jacob, was no ordinary man. He was meant to carry on a promise passed down from Abraham, to be the father of a great nation. Judah had 3 sons, and as was tradition, he arranged for his firstborn, to marry a woman named Tamar. But was wicked. We're not told exactly what he did, but bad enough that God struck him down. And just like that, Tamar became a widow. Now, under ancient Hebrew law, Judah's second son, Onan, was meant to marry Tamar to give his brother a child and continue the family line. But Onan didn't want to father a child that wouldn't be considered his, so he sabotaged it repeatedly. God saw this and struck him down too. 2 sons dead, and Tamar still childless. Judah, fearing his 3rd son might die too, made a promise he had no intention of keeping. Wait until my youngest grows up, then he'll marry you. But Tamar could see the truth. Judah had cast her aside. This is where the story takes a wild turn. Tamar wasn't going to let the promise of legacy die. She disguised herself, not as a warrior, not as a queen, but as a prostitute. One day she heard Judah was passing by, so she covered her face and waited by the roadside. Judah didn't recognize her. He offered payment, a goat for her services. She agreed, but asked for collateral, his signet, cord, and staff. He gave them. They slept together, and then he left. Days later, he sent a servant with the goat. But the woman was gone. Judah shrugged it off, until 3 months later, when someone came running. Your daughter-in-law, Tamar, is pregnant. Judah was furious. Burn her, he said. But Tamar was ready. She sent Judah his own staff, signet, and cord, with one message: the father of my child is the man who owns these. Judah froze. He realized the truth. He was the father. And he spoke words that echoed through history. She is more righteous than I. Tamar carried twins, but their arrival would be unlike any other. During the birth, the midwife saw a tiny hand emerge. She tied a scarlet thread around it, marking the firstborn. But then, something unexpected happened. The baby with the thread pulled his hand back in, and the other twin forced his way out first. This was unheard of. The second-born had somehow overtaken the first. So the midwife, stunned, cried out, "What a breach you have made for yourself." And the boy was named Perez, meaning breach or breakthrough. The second baby followed, scarlet thread still tied around his wrist. He was named Zerah, meaning brightness or shining. 2 brothers, born of scandal and boldness, one pushing past the other in the very act of birth. But the real surprise, Perez, the one who wasn't supposed to be first, became the ancestor of King David, and later, according to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus Christ. So why does this story matter? The Bible could have easily left it out. It's messy, it's controversial, it's strange. A woman disguises herself, sleeps with her father-in-law, and gives birth to twins fighting before they're even born. But that's the point. This isn't a clean story. It's a story of disruption, of things not going as expected, of God using broken, flawed, marginalized people to carry forward the most sacred plan in human history. Tamar, a foreign woman cast aside, becomes the matriarch of kings. Perez, the underdog twin, breaks through first and rewrites the order. And Judah, who once condemned her, becomes the line through which redemption flows. The scarlet thread, so small and strange, becomes a symbol of how God marks what should be, but sometimes allows what must be to break through instead. Thousands of years later, in a tiny town called Bethlehem, another strange birth would take place. One that would again confuse the wise, scandalize the proud, and elevate the broken. The bloodline of Perez, born from deception and defiance, would become the royal lineage of Christ. It's a reminder that legacy isn't always about perfection. It's about persistence, boldness, faith, and sometimes the willingness to cause a breach. Because history isn't written by those who play it safe. It's written by those who, like Perez, push forward when no one expects them to. Maybe this story isn't just about Perez and Zerah. Maybe it's about you. Maybe you were born into chaos. Maybe your story started with pain or rejection. Maybe the world tried to mark you with a scarlet thread, telling you who you should be, what your limits are, where your place ends. But God sees beyond that thread. He sees the breach you were born to make. Like Perez, you weren't meant to stay in the shadow. You were meant to break through. There is purpose in you, divine purpose, and it doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being willing to rise, to seek, to let the Spirit of God fill the places you thought were too broken. Because when you walk with God, you don't just rewrite your story. You rewrite the stories of generations after you. So don't just watch these stories. Live yours. Become Spirit-filled. Grow closer to the one who turns outcasts into vessels of destiny. And if you're ready to go deeper, if you're ready to uncover purpose and walk the path God has already written for you, subscribe now. Because together, we're not just telling stories. We're finding the ones that were born to live.